All right, we have here f of x is equal to x squared plus 9. We have x is greater than or equal to 0. So this is our original function. Let's take a look at the graph. And I've already entered the information that we need. So let's go ahead and go ahead and enter the information that you see here. And let's view the graph. So that's really kind of hard to see. So we're going to end up having to change our window settings so we can see this graph. So I'm looking at my y-axis, and you can see it's further up on the y-axis. So let's get a good view of that. So let's change our y-min to 0. And then let's change our y-max to, let's say, 20. And we're gonna change our y-scale. Instead of increments of 1, let's make it increments of 3. So then it'll be 3, 6, 9, 12. That's how it will be labeled, the y-axis. So let's put 3 there, and then let's press graph. So that's much better. So your domain, we're looking at the x coordinates. So our domain here, as I'm looking at this, is going to be from negative infinity to positive infinity. But then what will be our range as we go start from the bottom, work our way to the top? Where does this parabola start at? It starts at 9 and it goes to positive infinity. So our original function, our domain, is from negative infinity to positive infinity. And then our range is from 9 to positive infinity. And we are using the bracket notation to say that 9 is being included. So that's our original function. Let's find the inverse function. Let's replace f of x with y. We have y is equal to x squared plus 9. Interchange the x and y. We have x is equal to y squared plus 9. Solving for y, we're going to subtract 9 to both sides. And we have x minus 9 is equal to y squared. Take the square root to both sides. The right-hand side, the exponent of 2 and the radical sign cancels out. And we're using the square root property, so we're going to have two solutions. So we have plus or minus the square root of x minus 9 equals to y. Therefore, its inverse, replacing y with f inverse of x, is equal to plus or minus the square root of x minus 9. And we want to find the domain and range to this. And we're going to use our calculator to do so as well. So here's our table again. And I am going to uncheck the x squared plus 9. And we're going to put in the plus minus square root of x minus 9. Now notice I put those in as two separate functions, inverse functions, because we don't have a plus minus symbol on the calculator. So let's uncheck the first equation, and then let's check the second and the third equation so we can see what the graph looks like. So let's go ahead and press graph. Now both of these are, if you notice, y sub 2, y sub 3 is checked. It's highlighted. So let's go and press graph. And if you notice over here, you can see the graph somewhat, but I want to get a better understanding of how to find this domain and range. So we need to change our window setting. So this time what we're going to change is will be the X axis, the X min, X max. So let's go to our window screen. And I'm going to make my X min 0. And then we are going to make our X max, let's do 20 or 21. I'll tell you why 21. And then the X scale, just like how we did for the last table setting, let's make the X scale 3, multiples of 3, increments of 3. And so press graph. Now you can see this is a great view of what this graph looks like. So remember our X min, X max, our minimum value for the X is 0, our max is 21. So here is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So our domain along the X axis, it begins at +9 and it goes to +infinity. And then our range will be, or is, from -infinity to +infinity. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that down. Our range, -infinity to +infinity. And X has to be greater than our stipulation. X has to be greater than or equal to 9. Okay, because we go back, anything to the left of 9 will make this square root not possible, invalid. So 9 on up. And then also, so we don't have to look at the graph, remember inverse means we're interchanging, we're switching. So if you notice, look at our domain for our original function, -infinity to +infinity. Well, it becomes, when we take the inverse, that becomes our range. And then look at our range for the original function. For the inverse, it becomes our domain.